Thank you very much, Your Royal Highness. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for putting basically the spotlight on this topic here today, protecting children in a digital world. This is an issue indeed where parents worry about all across Europe and, as we heard, and I guess everyone here in this room. It is good that we discuss it here today, because Denmark has emphasized the light and the shadows of the digital world early on. A decade ago, you were the first to recognize the vast opportunities of digital learning without any question. Denmark was bringing screens and new technologies into schools. They were the first ones to do that. And today, Denmark is once again taking the lead, but this time by confronting the risks, above all, those posed by social media. And that is why it is so inspiring to hold this conference here in Copenhagen today, in a spirit of leadership. Leadership from those who do not fear the pace of technological change, but recognize that we must build a digital world where our children can grow up free and secure, protected by the values that Europe stands for. And that is what must guide us here today. We all recognize the extraordinary opportunities this technological revolution brings. Many young people, if you listen to them, speak passionately of how technology gives them a sense of belonging. These are wonderful things. They show the digital world at its best, a place to access knowledge, a place to find advice and support, a place that creates new avenues for exchange, for creativity, for humor. The possibilities are vast. But as we all know, the dangers are just as great. Because children are not little adults. Their minds are delicate. Their psychological vulnerability is profound. Mental wounds can be life-changing. The more they are exposed to the digital world, the greater the risks. You know it, likes, shares, retweets, links, etc. Social media validations are increasingly dictating how they think and how they feel. Constant judgment, constant comparison, and constant fear of not being enough. The pressure can be overwhelming. And they are being exposed at a moment when their resilience is only just beginning to grow, because they are still children. And we all know the consequences. It starts with sleep deprivation, depression, anxiety, self-harm, the addictive behavior, cyberbullying, grooming, exploitation, suicide. And with the rapid advance of artificial intelligence, these risks are multiplying fast. These risks are the reality of the digital world. And let me be very clear. They are not accidental. They are the result of business models that treat our children's attention as a commodity. The more attention, the higher the profit. A Danish children's rights organization found that nearly half of the content children see on social media is advertising. Young men are getting hooked on games that are designed to manipulate them into spending more and more money. Young women are targeted with beauty product ads the moment they untag themselves in a photo. And these are deliberate choices by tech providers. Choices made so they can profit from children's vulnerability, to cash in on their fears and moments of self-doubt. There is a reason why some call it the greatest brain hack in human history. So this is about more than just technical questions of media use. This is about childhood itself, about what children mean to us. Children are not commodities, and no tech company in the world should be allowed to treat them as such. Children are children with their dreams, their curiosity, their openness, their trust. I'm aware that many perceive the powers of major tech corporations as overwhelming and impossible to roll back. I disagree. We do not have to accept addictive social media design. We do not have to accept children being drawn into ever more extreme content. We do not have to accept that girls and women have their photos used for AI-generated sexualized images. As Margrethe said, Europe has the power to act. It is us who decide our rules, not the tech companies. We are taking action against TikTok and its addictive design, the endless scrolling, the autoplay, the push notifications, you name it. The same applies to Meta, because we believe Instagram and Facebook are failing to enforce their own minimum age of 13. We launched proceedings against X for Grok's use in creating and spreading material depicting child sexual abuse. We're investigating platforms that allow children to go down the so-called rabbit holes of harmful content, such as videos that promote eating disorders and self-harm. All of this is possible because we have created a powerful tool, the Digital Services Act. And we have also created the Digital Markets Act to prevent platforms from abusing market power. We have already closed cases with Apple and Meta, with investigation ongoing with Google. We have shown that we will forge ahead despite the headwinds we face. We've set the rules, it's the law, and those who break it will be held accountable. But we also know we must do more. And that is why we have established a special panel of experts on child safety online to advise us. And without preempting the panel's findings, I believe we must consider a social media delay. Depending on the results, we could come with a legal proposal this summer. We're witnessing the lightning speed at which technology is advancing and how it penetrates every corner of childhood and adolescence. And the discussions about a minimum age for social media can no longer be ignored, as you all know here in this room. Almost all EU member states call for an assessment on the need for it. At the moment, Denmark wants to introduce one, 9 other member states too. The European Parliament has come to the same conclusion. The question is not whether young people should have access to social media. The question is whether social media should have access to young people. And childhood and early adolescence are formative years. And I believe we should give our children more time to become resilient in these vulnerable phases. Time to play with real friends, not chase followers. Time on the football pitch or playing in a band. Time to develop their own ideas, not being led by an algorithm. Time to learn the difference between reality and falsehood. So let us give childhood back to children. a childhood free to experiment, because that is what childhood is about, and what allows children to mature, to learn how to handle pressure, navigate social dynamics, and build self-confidence. And let's help parents navigate a difficult stage of development. I'm sure many of you in this room have had the same conversations about how much time on social media is too much, about the balance between protecting our children online while not excluding them from the world of their friends. The responsibilities on parents are already so high, so let us take this additional weight from their shoulders. And here we can learn from a pioneer. Australia has already taken this step, introducing a minimum age of 16. And we can see the progress. Fewer children and teenagers have social media accounts, but there are also big challenges, without any question. While some platforms inform users and deactivate accounts, others do the opposite. Some are even actively encouraging teenagers to bypass these safeguards. We all know that sustainable change does not happen overnight. But if we're slow and if we're hesitant, it will be another entire generation of children that pay the price. So let's be focused, let's be fast, and let's define clear rules on how to structure a social media delay for Europe. And finally, any age restriction model depends on reliable age verification. And here we have good news for a change. We have developed an age verification app that soon will be available, and it ticks all the boxes. The highest privacy standards in the world. It works on any device, it is easy to use, and it is fully open source. Here in Denmark, it will be rolled out by summer, and it is built on the success of our European COVID app. You might recall that one. That app was used in 78 countries on 4 continents. So it is a proven and reliable model. And our union is working with member states to integrate it in their digital wallets. We have made the technology open source, so online platforms can easily adopt it. In other words, no more excuses. The technology for age verification is available. Ladies and gentlemen, an age limit does not mean letting tech companies off the hook for the content of their platforms. In Europe, whoever develops a product is responsible for its safety. Car manufacturers must make their vehicles safe. We do not expect children to design their own seat belts. We do not expect parents to fit airbags at home. And the same must apply to social media. Tech providers are responsible for the safety of their products and their safe use. This is a European principle that is the basis of the Digital Services Act. High standards for privacy, security, and the protection of minors are mandatory. And there are rules against addictive models, harmful content, and unwanted contacts. This is what we call safety by design. And these protections should be strengthened and expanded. And that is why we have made children's rights a priority in our rules for the development and use of AI. And later this year, we will target addictive and harmful design practices with the Digital Fairness Act, so attention capture, complex contract, subscription traps, etc. In Europe, safety must be there from the start, not added as an afterthought. And one more point. I've spoken about the need to give our children time to become more resilient. They need to develop their skills to act with autonomy, online and offline. And we need to give them the means to learn. They need to understand the logic of social media. They need to learn how to protect themselves from negative effects. And at the same time, how to make use of the positive aspects. This is a task in which everyone has a role to play. Parents, who serve as a role model. Teachers, who can help children build these competencies from an early age on. Media organizations, NGOs, or journalists with their professional experience. They can show how to verify sources, identify fake news and AI-generated images. The principle is to encourage to think critically before clicking. Media education is a key task for society as a whole. So, ladies and gentlemen, Europe can rightly be proud of being the best place in the world to grow up. A place where access to good education does not depend on parents' income. A place where healthcare is available when children need it. Where children are free to play outside in safety and freedom. It is our task to take these achievements into the digital world. The choices we make now should not be guided by fear, but by courage. We often say, children are our future. That includes the obligation that every child has the best possible chance to grow up free, protected, and empowered, because children are, above all, their own future, and we carry responsibility for them. All of us here in the room and all across Europe, so let us take this responsibility seriously and lead. Thank you very much, and long live Europe.